Thank you so much for being on the programme this evening. So just talk us through, what is the government doing to help the victims of the post office scandal?
What we decided to do is to legislate to overturn all convictions that are related to the Post Office Horizon scandal. There are 983 people that were convicted of an offence based upon Horizon evidence, this faulty computer system. Clearly a scandal, and many people will have seen it on their TV screens. Only 95 so far have been able to come forward and have those convictions overturned. It's not quick enough. We want those people to clear their names, and we want those people to access compensation much more quickly. At the moment, it requires every single individual to come forward and have their claims reassessed, which can be quite a laborious and painful process, and obviously bring up bad memories from the past, and lots of people are reluctant to do that. What we intend to do is legislate so they don't have to do that. All those people will have their convictions overturned, then all those people then can access compensation. And there's two routes for that. They can choose to have a detailed assessment of their loss, or they can choose a simple fixed sum award offer of £600,000. So simply take that money off the table, draw a line under things, walk away and get on with their lives.
I just want to take a step back for a minute, because the government's proposing to overturn en masse convictions. And I don't think anyone would, question the fact that these are clearly unsafe convictions. I have a massive amount of sympathy for the victims of this terrible story. But are you worried it sets a bit of a dangerous precedent?
Of course.
So you are worried about that?
Of course we are. We don't want to interfere with the courts and the judicial processes. They're independent of government. But this is such an exceptional case, and so we've chosen this exceptional measure. We have looked at all the alternatives. All the alternatives would require a very much more longer term, much more in-depth process, case by case, exactly what we're kind of going through now, which has been so slow. So either we choose that option and it goes on for years, or we do this option and we can resolve this within a few weeks or months. And that's what we want to do. That's what the situation we want to come to. And with these people who've been through so much, not just in terms of financial loss, but reputational loss, damage to relationships and health. We want to sweep it all aside so people can get compensated and be exonerated.
What was the legal advice you received from the Attorney General on it?
Well, clearly we had that consideration about interfering with the legal process, and there was conversation between the Justice Secretary and people like the Lord Chief Justice, of course, and everybody knows this is not something Parliament would normally do, interfere in the courts. So we understood what we were potentially going to do, but I think everybody that we spoke to, not always everybody, of course, in the legal fraternity, there'll be different perspectives. On balance, we felt it was the right thing to do.
We know how unsafe these convictions are. I mean, I've spoken to people affected by this. I'm sure you've spoken to many, many people. Some may have been convicted rightly. What's the kind of error rate that you're comfortable with here?
Well, prior to Horizon being installed, if you look at the numbers, there was about 5 cases a year prosecuted by the Post Office. As soon as Horizon was up and running, it was about 50 to 60. So people can make from that what they will, but we think quite a high proportion of people are innocent. Of course, you're right to say that some people who might have been guilty, who may be guilty, will be made innocent through this, but nevertheless, those people might be guilty of something that was caused because of the duress caused by Horizon and the attitude of some of the people who worked for the Post Office. So it's difficult to assess all those things other than through a process that takes years. So we decided to take that risk, and there is a risk of that. We've been clear about that, but we still think on balance it's the right thing to do.
Another part of the story is Fujitsu, the company responsible for this faulty computer system that threw up all these errors. Now, they've got an awful lot of government contracts, right? Because they were previously on the pre-approved supplier list, so they were on the kind of fast track, if you like. Are you comfortable with them having all these contracts?
Well, what we decided to do, we set up a statutory inquiry. I think it's right we follow a process that we don't assume guilt. If they're guilty, of course I'm not, but we don't know that yet. We haven't established that. You may have made up your mind, people at home may have made up their minds, and I've got a view on stuff, of course, but We do believe in a presumption of innocence in this country in a process. We've got a statutory inquiry that's run by a former High Court judge, a retired High Court judge, Sir Win Williams. That will report by the end of this year, or will conclude by the end of this year, when we've identified who's responsible, and if that's an organisation, there's no reason at that point in time, it's something we're very keen to do, to make sure that organisation contributes to the very hefty bill that's currently being picked up by the taxpayer in terms of that compensation bill.
What kind of, you like them to get a hefty amount if they are, like you say, following due process, if they're found to be responsible?
We're talking hundreds of millions of pounds of cost of here. We set up a maximum budget at the moment of £1 billion in compensation. That this is coming from, effectively from the taxpayer, government funds. So this will be significant. We don't know the contribution Fujitsu have made towards this scandal, but we will do in time. And I think there'll be time then to make those decisions, and indeed individuals as well.
You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, individuals as well. Some people within the post office or Fujitsu were potentially guilty, or others are guilty of something, perverting the course of justice, for example. And where that's clear, clearly we don't tell who prosecution, the people who prosecute crimes, who to prosecute, but we would very much hope if there's sufficient evidence, individuals may well be prosecuted through those routes.
Through the criminal court system, I mean. Now, you've been someone who's been banging the drum on this for a while now, but I guess I do find it quite astonishing that it's taken, TV drama for this to happen so quickly.
Well, there's been an awful lot of work been done all the time.
Of course there has.
I could set that out.
We both know that this wouldn't have happened so quickly. And when you're talking about overturning mass convictions, that wouldn't have happened without the TV drama.
I don't accept that. It might not have happened on this timescale, because we were looking at those options before the TV drama, and we'd done things like the fixed sum award before the TV drama. So all these things we were accelerating and doing anyway. But there's no doubt, of course, we're elected by the public. We were here on behalf of the public. Of course we respond to public pressure, public outrage. And we're members of the public too, don't forget. And we watch this on our TV screens, and parliamentarians get outraged too about what's happened. And of course that creates a platform that allows us to move more quickly.
So what are you hoping ITV looks at next then? Getting growth back into the economy, solving the productivity crisis?
Well, our economy's grown faster.
Those 5 pledges you might hope that they start looking at next, maybe.
Our economy's grown faster than France and Germany since 2010, since Brexit, since the COVID crisis. So that's probably not the one I'd choose. But nevertheless, we absolutely. I think the people who've made the series have done a fantastic job, and created that platform for this kind of action we're bringing forward today, and we need to make sure that Parliament keeps up that momentum and we deliver this up as quickly as we can.
I was quite struck by something that Rishi Sunak said at Prime Minister's Questions in response to Stephen Flynn. He said he was sad the Honourable Gentleman is trying to politicise something that's happened over multiple decades with multiple people involved. Do you think the Conservatives should call off the attack dogs in that light over Ed Davey?
Well, I haven't got involved in that at all. I don't know about others. Some people may have done, some of my colleagues. I've not particularly seen that. I don't think we've got a party policy of attacking Ed Davey. I think the media seems to be have got Ed Davey in their sights about what he did and what he didn't do at the time. And I think as ministers, we've all got lessons to learn in terms of making sure we ask the right questions and we don't take the first answer we're given. Now, individual ministers, individual ex-ministers will decide whether they did their job to the best of their ability. Ed Davies said he made mistakes. He should have gone further himself, and what he decides to do from there is entirely up to him. And but for me, we shouldn't politicise this. This is something we are keen to deliver, and the best way of delivering that is through both houses and on a cross-party basis wherever we can. And
given the desire not to politicise by you and by Rishi Sunak, should we expect to see no attack ads over Keir Starmer's record as Director of Public Prosecutions from Tory HQ then? Well, I can't speak for Tory HQ, but I'm focusing on getting the legislation through as quickly as possible, getting people's names cleared and compensated them as quickly as possible. That's my focus. OK, very finally, because I know you've got to go. You were due to give a ministerial statement on this. You were gazumped by the Prime Minister. A little bit disappointed? No, as you know, Sophie, ministerial statements always come after the Prime Minister's questions, so it would have made no difference to that sequence. So it didn't matter to me how we did it. The main thing, we've been able to stand up today, as we said we would, this week, and make a statement about what we're doing. And I think lots of people will be hopefully very pleased by what's said today, the victims, but also, crucially, people who haven't come forward already.
We want those people to come forward. We want to say to them, this will be as painless a process as possible. We'll clear your name and we'll compensate you very quickly. So that's the message. We want people who are nervous about coming forward to come forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.